now is he wants to touch Michael Jordan. He wants to feel him. You know, he wants to know that he's human, and he doesn't want Michael to think that he's backing down from the challenge. However, he respects him, and he wants to get close enough to him so he can rob him of his knowledge. Kobe Bryant is trying to steal Michael Jordan's game, not only physically, but mentally.
Of today's NBA doubleheader on NBC. Pippen, Rodman, Longley, Harper, and Jordan, but changes for the Lakers. Corey Blunt in at forward. Robert Horry with a strained abdominal muscle will not play, and all-star Nick Van Exel also not suiting up. He's got a hip flexor, and Derek Fisher, the second-year man out of Arkansas Little Rock, draws the start. Van Exel and Horry in street clothes.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Shaq comes out and approaches this game. I talked to him yesterday, and he really wants to come out. He sees Chicago and Jordan as a team that they may be playing against in the finals, and he wants to come out and set the tone and set the tempo for his team early. They've got off to a few sluggish starts in the past, the last 3 or 4 games, and he wants to come out tonight and establish himself in the middle with his dominance.
Shaq to jump against Longley, Chicago ball. In December at the United Center, the Bulls prevailed 104-83. Never a game. They jumped out in front 27-5 in the first quarter. But no Shaq, no Pippen for that one. Pippen with the game's first shot. Both he and Michael were ice cold at Golden State on Friday night. Somehow they managed to win 87-80, but they were a combined 10 for 40. Pippen 8 for 23. Michael, one of the worst performances of his career, 2 of 17. Here is Fisher. And Shaq with Longley trying to defend against him. Shoots it over and hits plus the foul.
Now, the first thing that you'll notice about Chicago and LA, Chicago comes out, they have a lot of movement in their triangle offense. LA comes down and they throw it right into the post into Shaq. They try to work his man one-on-one. They came over on the double team. Shaq had the strength and the presence to power through the move.
Only 49% from the line, and that won't help it. The foul is on Harper coming over on the double team. Pippen, who says he likes to play against Western Conference teams because the style tends to be more wide open. Friday here against Minnesota. Starts with a bucket against the Bulls. Lakers 7, Chicago 4. Opening 2 minutes. Puts it behind the back and hits from the foul line.
That's a nice fadeaway by Jordan. He struggled the other night. He wants to come in tonight and get off early.
Has the rebound. You can tell this is a big game. Even just past noon, it is not a late arriving crowd on the forum. Jordan, 2 for 3.
See, that's what he wants to do. He wants to get into his rhythm early. You know, he's got the bounce. You know, everybody, this is a big game. The energy is in the building. You can look at the players' faces and tell that this is something that they want to come out tonight and prove to each other who is really the best.
Eddie Jones takes it underneath and brings it back up top to Fisher. Stripped by Pippen. Back he comes in transition. Dishes to Michael. Well, that's what Pippen was talking about. He's a transition player, and you tend to get a more wide-open game against teams like...
Now, Michael wants to come out early. He takes it behind his back here, and he's going to shoot the little fade away. Now you'll see him here, uses the screen set by Longley, the pump fake, the fundamentals, the simple fundamentals of the game is what makes him great.
Pippen left alone for 3. Rodman with his first rebound, and a great feed to Longley, who's fouled on the play by Blunt.
Now on the fast break, you see Pippen comes down and Jordan has ran the lane wide, which lets him have the ability to go up and elevate over Rick Fox. Michael loves to come into the form and play. He's averaging 30 points, and he wants to put on the show. This is the time when, as a player, you want to come in and perform for the stars because they perform for you every night on TV, and you get a chance to come in and perform for them. So this is when you really want to bring out your A game.
Longley hits them both. Shoved back in his face by Longley. Loose ball to Pippen. Jordan. Harper is there for the rebound. And they get a fresh 24. Harper takes it right in.
The energy of Chicago. The match of the intensity and the energy of Los Angeles right now.
And Longley is going to bring Shaq back to the line. Longley's second foul. He's fouled out of 7 games this year, the most in the league. Let's go to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. A lot of coaches and everybody saying that this game was not a statement game. Nobody trying to send any messages. But I talked to Michael Jordan about that. He said that's absolutely wrong. He said this is a game where everybody knows that the Lakers are the team of the future, but more importantly, the Chicago Bulls are the team of the present. And they want to show them that if they ever hope to win an NBA championship, they're going to have to go through them. Bob?
Shaq shooting better than 60% from the field and under 50% from the line.
Well, let's talk about why Shaq struggles from the free throw line. You know, Shaquille O'Neal, he's 7 foot tall, and when he holds the basketball, it's almost like a volleyball or a grapefruit in his hands. When he looks at the basket and he looks at the rim, the reason why he shoots a line drive, because basically he's eye to eye with the rim. So it's hard for him to get touch on the basketball. They have people to come in here to show him how to shoot.
Averaging better than 12 rebounds a game and over 27 points. As soon as he has enough points or games played to qualify for the league leaders, he'll be second in the league behind Michael Jordan. Right now, Karl Malone ranked second. Joe Klein is in for Longley, who picked up 2 quick fouls and clacked it up toward the end of the first half of the season, maybe turning some of the Eastern Conference coaches against him. Rodman might have been on the team, and had Pippen not been injured, almost certainly he would have been on the team. So we could have had 7 All-Stars in action today. As it is, Jordan is the only Chicago representative. He led everybody in fan balloting.
But when we talked to Shaq yesterday, he said, yeah, they're blessed to have 4 All-Stars on the team, but it's also a curse also, because now those All-Stars have to live up to it every night, and people are coming in trying to prove to them that they're better than they are.
As we come back after the timeout, here's Rick Fox driving into the lane around Pippen into the right hand off the glass.
That's what LA has to do. They have to get to the basket, dish that off to Joe Klein.
In a 6-game, 9-day West Coast swing that takes them to the All-Star game, the Bulls have won at Vancouver, at Portland, and at Golden State. Shaq, from just inside the line, puts it through.
You know, they should do more of that in terms of bringing Shaq out on the floor. Eldon Campbell has had those problems ever since he got here. I remember Magic Johnson, when Eldon Campbell was a rookie, he took Eldon in and gave him a tongue lashing and was really trying to light some fire under him.
And now here comes Kobe. He doesn't start for his own team, but the fans said he should start in the All-Star game, so he will. A week from tonight at Madison Square Garden. He leads everyone in the NBA in terms of points off the bench, averaging 17.5 points a game as a reserve.
But this will be a good matchup right now because he's matched up with Tony Kukoc, and neither one of them are great defenders, but they're great offensive players. They're very superb in what they do offensively. It'll be interesting to see which one of them gets off first.
Blunt with the interception. Bryant to Jones, now he has it back. Kobe right up with it, way off the mark. O'Neal has it. It's on Fox, who drives baseline and then gets rid of it to Shaq. Over Klein. Rodman for another rebound. Averaging 15.5 boards a game to easily lead the league. He's got 5 in this first quarter. Bryant has Kukoc around the Klein screen. Now Michael.
Michael's got a good shooting rhythm going. He's shooting the ball extremely well, and he's matched up against Kobe now. But Dennis Rodman, the rebounding machine, he already has 6 rebounds today. Let's take a look at Dennis. Everything he does is with two hands. He gets it, one hand, two hands. That's what all young kids should watch. Watch how he positions himself, tips it, grabs it with two hands. Every time you see him rebound, it's with two hands, turns, outlets. Fundamentally sound into the game. 36 years old, leading the league in rebounding. The only two people to ever do that is Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, the big man.
And as if this game needed any additional spice, Rodman provided it with yet another critique of Shaquille O'Neal. He said he's a two-dimensional player. All he can do is dunk and dunk.
And I would say there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, Rodman's also wrong if he's serious, because Shaq is a terrific rebounder. He passes well out of the double. He does tend to get in foul trouble, and of course his great weakness is that he can't hit free throws.
Well, let's take a look at Shaq. You know, he's 25 years old. He's coming to the league at a very early age, and it takes a long time to win a championship. His discipline, his focus, his concentration is on winning a championship. He's improved himself, and he's going to win a championship in one of these years.
Judd Bushler just in, misses long. Kukoc has the rebound. It's wrested away from him, though, by Mario Bennett. Bennett to Bryant, into a crowd off the glass.
Now, Mario Bennett is a speed player. He's one of them guys who can get up and down the court. You know, he's very versatile. He can guard you on the court, outside the court. He can do anything out on the court from a versatility standpoint.
Jordan, Pippen, Bushler, Kukoc, and Klein, and Michael. Misses long, line drive rebound to Kobe. Out of the backcourt with Jones on his right. Jordan had him defensively. Jones from the side, gets the three. And the Bryant All-Star gives the Lakers a 6-point lead. It's the game's biggest.
People, and you can see that Chicago's already over or LA hasn't gotten to the penalty yet because they haven't used it. But if you start fouling people and you keep fouling them, then you got to keep sending them to the line, and at the end of the game, that can come back and bite you.
LA on a 13-2 run. Michael from 20, fouled as he let it go. Eddie Jones picks up his first, and you can go online to msnbcsports.com and cast your ballots for the NBA midseason survey. Voting for MVP, Coach of the Year, Most Improved Player, and all the rest. Later today, go online for post-game commentary and reactions from the locker rooms of the Bulls and the Lakers. msnbcsports.com.
Now, Ahmad and I were talking to Jordan back in the locker room, and he made the comment to Ahmad and I that, you know, it's interesting that, you know, whenever there's a one-on-one matchup, he always guards his guy, but the guy doesn't never guard him. They always put somebody else on him.
Well, in this case, though, Bryant and Jordan were guarding each other, at least for a few sequences. Here's Fox to Jones, and Jones with the up and under. Recovers. Last 10 seconds of the quarter. Kobe on Michael. To the foul line, the jumper over him, and that's the way the first quarter will conclude. Michael with more than half of Chicago's total. The Lakers used to be a Bulls fan.
Every time I see Magic Johnson, you know, that was my mentor when I came into the league. He showed me the ropes, he showed me the ups and downs of this league, and when I used to come in and watch the Lakers compete against the Celtics, everything that I learned about winning in the NBA, I learned from Magic Johnson and this Lakers organization and the Boston Celtics and Larry Bird.
That's the second. Bryant into the lane. Shaq follow with some emphasis.
That's where he has to be. See, that's Shaq's gangster game. That's when he just takes a basket. You know, Kobe came in and Shaq was able to use his strength, use his muscle. When Rodman says all he does is dunk, 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 you know, that's all he has to do because those are very high percentage shots for him.
I would say so. Lakers by 6. Rodman from Kukoc, way off. Bryant coming across, looking for Bennett. Now Fox fills the lane. Bennett was open initially, but Fox, trailing the play, gets the hoop, and he has 14.
Well, Kobe wanted to throw the lob to Bennett, and he jumped in the pass.
Lakers trying to get back quickly, but the Bulls regrouped. Scotty on Kobe. Giving him a variety of moves, then shooting it in his face, and Pippen fouls him. Let's go back and take a look at the Kobe drive and the Shaq follow.
But you got Kobe coming down the lane, but what makes it is Shaq positions himself, and he goes over Longley. Now watch Shaq as he positions himself, times it as it comes out, and goes over Longley.
A moment ago, Pippen picked up his second foul. Bryant at the line when we come back. The football experience is virtually useless at NBC these days. You must diversify. Here's Kobe at the line after being fouled by Pippen and rattling it home.
But you see Kobe here, he's going to be one of the youngest players to ever start in the All-Star game. I remember my first All-Star game was in New Jersey, and I walked out on the court and I seen Kareem, I seen Bird, I seen McHale, and the first time I went to the free throw line, I shot an air ball because I was so nervous and I was so scared. To duplicate that, and what Dale Harris's dilemma has been all season long is they go up and down. They have good forwards and bad.
Jordan from Brown. They take it right back. And a Laker foul.
And Chicago, being a veteran team, senses that the lack of energy, and they put the flurry on. Now what set that play up was the up fake that Michael gave. He gave Kobe the up fake, set him up, then he was able to get to alley-oop. A lot of guys you see, they just run off and take off blindly for the alley-oop. But Michael Jordan continues to amaze me with his fundamentals, the way he sets people up.
The foul is on Bennett, and Michael misses the first of two.
So you'll see Michael come through the lane. Now watch him fake Kobe. See, he fakes him up and then he makes the back cut. Had he not made the fake, the play wouldn't have happened. His fundamentals are amazing.
Michael has 14. And it stays there as he misses them both.
Now see, now what Kobe has to do, he has to remember everything that Michael does to him. He has to put it in his book and come back the next time that he plays against him and bring it out. But he has to remember because he's going to school.
Shaq missing the hook, but Longley quickly is in foul trouble. That's his third. As we've been telling you, next Sunday, the All-Star Game from New York, 6 Eastern Time. The best in the world, and you'll see it on NBC next Sunday. Shaq is 0 for 3 at the line. Now, earlier you were talking about 7-footers and their angle to the basket on a free throw. On the other hand, Kareem was a good free throw shooter. Your old teammate Bill Laimbeer was a good one. There have been others.
Yeah, but those guys, they were finesse players, you know, like Chamberlain and O'Neal. Those have really been like the two power centers that I can remember in the league. And if you remember Chamberlain, he would move all around the free throw line trying to get the correct angle. You know, Shaq's game is a power game. It's one of dominance. It's not one of finesse. So therefore, he has a difficult time coming down to the finesse game.
Well, he hit them both that time. Remember, at the end of his career, Chamberlain actually was shooting them from 18 feet. Michael into the lane and hammered. And Shaq picks up his first. Right at the end of his career, Wilt was almost back at the top of the key, trying almost anything. So much for history. To the present day, Kobe Bryant, Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones, and Shaq, Laker members of the All-Star team. This is Magic Johnson's first All-Star appearance in 1980 in Landover on the Bullets' home floor, as they were then known, now the Wizards. And he was but 20. Now Kobe Bryant, the youngest ever elected to an All-Star team. Michael hit them both after the Shaq foul. Lakers by 3. Bryant over Michael. Shaq to follow.
Now that's Jam Danny. You know, he underneath, following, he can use his strength against Bill. But you know, it's a big game. You know, look at the hustle of Eddie Jones. You know, and this, you know, here comes the cameraman. Look. Oh!
Man, it looks like earthquake footage. Eddie got just about all of it. The monitor, meaning Eddie Jones. He got Eddie Okuno. He got the monitor. He knocked our notes all over the place.
Yeah, well, that's the good stuff. You know, that's what you like about basketball. You know, you like the heart, you like the desire. You know, they give it all and then they put it out on the floor.
Eddie Jones actually cut his knee. He goes out. Eddie Okuno continues on camera, however. Wennington misses from the baseline, but scrambles back for the loose ball. The Bulls down by 3. Michael, Kobe up on him. The whole bag of tricks, but the shot doesn't fall.
Nice tip by Rob.
Burrell to the floor, surrounded by a group of Lakers, and a jump ball.
See, that's basketball, you know, diving on the floor.
Fox from Fisher. Fox, averaging just over 11 a game, has 14 already in this half, after a 30-point performance on Friday. O'Neal and Wennington collide, and Wennington can't believe that the foul is on him. Fisher. Fox for 3. Short with it. Fisher slams to the floor. No-look pass to Blunt.
Nice.
Michael back. And he's fouled. Are you sure this is a Chicago pace?
Well, when you look at Fisher, you know, he's a do-it-all kind of guy. You know, he's a point guard. He comes in here and he tries to create, but he'll stick with it. You know, he knows that was a bad shot, so he tries to get it. So now he'll get on the floor here. He dives out on the floor, and he knows that there's 2 people behind him, so he gives the no-look. And the finish by Corey Blunt.
The last foul was on Fox, his second. Michael now with 17. He isn't buying what Del Harris has been saying all week. But you send messages in the playoffs, this isn't a statement game.
Back and attack. If they can sustain this type of energy and sustain this type of intensity, then they'll be all right. But the young team that they are, they go up and down.
Burrell loses as he cuts through the lane. Fox back. Jones. Off the Fox alley-oop.
That's what all the kids in the park in the playground will go out after the game and try to practice that move.
Timeout Chicago. A pumped up Derek Fisher thrusts a fist in the air. Hi, Hannah. You know, I asked Kobe Bryant about the origin of his name. Some fans know this. His mom and dad were ordering some Japanese steak, and there's a sort of steak that is popular in Japan, Kobe steak, Kobe beef. And eventually, after they took the name from that, K-O-B-E, people started pronouncing it Kobe, and that's what stuck. Either way, it's just a good thing they weren't ordering rump roast. Here's Pippen. His pass deflected, picked up by Brown, and now Scotty. He has only 4 points in this first half.
See, LA has to keep their energy up now. They have to finish the half strong.
Here's Derek Fisher back the other way. And he draws a foul, driving off the left side. Now let's take a look back at the Eddie Jones play moments ago.
But you see Rick Fox comes in, he makes the alley-oop, and you see him flying. That's what we all want to do. Fly to the hole like Eddie Jones and dunk it. I know all the little kids going to go out and try that move, but remember, you got to practice the fundamentals also.
After the Chicago foul, with Bryant back in, Jones unleashes a 3. It rims out. O'Neal is coming to the foul line again. He, by far, speaking of O'Neal, leads the league in free throws per game. And, of course, it's a problem for Del Harris when your top scorer, the second leading...
If I was coaching Shaq, I would never really worry about his free throw shooting in the late stages of the game. I would still want to go to him. I would still want to give him the basketball simply because he's 25 years old. To win a championship in this league, it's a long chase. It's a long haul. So you have to learn how to play under those pressure-cooked leagues. You just don't walk into this league and start winning championships. You know, it takes time.
Jordan from 20. And Michael has 20 in the first half. Eddie Jones back. Can't control the dribble. Burrell has it. Burrell pulls up, confronted by Shaq. Brown around Fisher, and now Pippen with the left hand.
Now see, this is where experience comes in. This is where the vets come out. You know, at the end of the half, you know, you got Shaq coming into the low post. He positions himself. He gets deep into the post. Once he's that deep, he's hard to stop, so you got to foul him. You're better off fouling him than letting him get that deep into the post.
It was Brown coming over on the double team who was hit with the personal. As soon as Shaquille O'Neal has played 400 career games, and that will come sometime early next season, he'll qualify for the all-time leaders. And he would automatically become the fourth leading scorer if he maintains his present pace, the fourth leading scorer of all time. Bryant with Burrell on him. Jordan guarding Shaq. Burrell coming over on the double team. Shaq over Rodman.
And see, that's where Shaq is trying to develop his finesse game. He hasn't got his finesse game down yet. He came into the league strictly as a power player, but now you see him trying to develop little hook shots, little turnaround jump shots, trying to develop his finesse game. So when he's 29 years old, he'll have the total package.
Jordan is short with it. Rodman chases it to the side for another rebound. Shaq has 15 at that last basket, averaging 27 for the season, which is just about his career average, too. Pippen for three. The Laker lead trimmed to 1. Kobe. And he answers with a three. He's not had a terrific first half, but maybe that'll get him going. 8 points for him. Jordan fades and fires over Shaq.
Oh, that was nice. It was nice because he took the bump from Shaq and he was strong enough to follow through with it on the fade.
Eddie Jones quickly back. That's a big part of his game in transition that way. Lakers 57, Bulls 53. Last possession of the half, perhaps. Burrell from Rodman. Misses it. Bryant has it. 6 seconds to push it up the floor. Eddie Jones, an open three. Not there. And that'll do it. Coming up next, the Prudential Halftime Report. That's after these messages. With the Lakers in front by 4, halftime at the Great Western Forum. Maybe Michael Jordan's last NBA game in Los Angeles. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
More. It's going to be tough to beat the Bulls in a half-court game, so we got to get early transition offense.
What about the Chicago Bulls?
Well, I think they have to continue to execute. You know, the Bulls are where they want to be, believe me. They want to come down, and they know if they take it into the fourth quarter in a close game, MJ already got, over 20, and he'll take over and win the game.
But even in a fast-court game, it seems to me that the Bulls are kind of comfortable with that pace.
Yeah, but, we're better at it than them. Now the Bulls want to run, no question about it. They have better people in transition maybe than we do, but that's our game. In a half-court game where we're going. You got more options in a half-court game than we do in terms of the Lakers. We're going to Shaq. You don't know what they're going to do. Michael, Scotty, Luke Longley is playing well, so they got a little bit more options than we have.
We could probably do the second half and let Bob and Isaiah go get it out.
You and Bob take the second half off.
They keep pounding. Shaq. The Lakers are 7 for 7 from the floor in the third quarter. LA by 19.
not taking any chances right now, you know. Let's look at the student and the teacher. They got Kobe driving, but he'll try to use the teacher's move on him. Jordan shuts him down. Then Jordan comes down and says, let me show you this one. Bam! Okay, now let me see if you can get this. Okay, the back up. Did you catch that one, young fella?
And in recognition of this look inside the game, Miller Beer will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund.
The education of the NBA, learning how to win in this league is very difficult. You have your good nights and your bad nights, but mentally you got to be able to stay in it and you got to be able to learn.
Here is Kobe to the baseline for the slam. He's got 10. And they match the game's biggest lead. And the foul is on Chicago.
You see Kobe going baseline and he elevates with two hands. And he jumps off the wrong foot, which throws Luke Longley off balance. And he's able to elevate over top of him. Just like we want to do, Bob. See, this is when you got to knock the champion out. You can't give him any light here.
Jordan spins at the foul line and hits. 26 for Michael.
See, Jordan knows how to stay in the game. He knows when the kill points are. You know, LA went on the run. Now they've settled down. They've lost their energy to go up and down. Now Chicago is going
to energize things just a bit.
Shaq would have stopped all that.
21 for him.
But this is how the veterans try to hang around the game. They take safe shots. They're trying to weather the storm here to get back into it.
Intercepted by Bryant. Jordan is back with it. Kobe fouled by Michael. And before the shot, no basket.
And when you got the young legs and the young energy, you want to keep pushing. You want to keep forcing the envelope. You don't want to let Chicago rest. Every chance you get, you want to push the ball up court just as LA is doing.
That's the first on Michael. Kobe unleashes a 40. Ooh, it's there.
The Chicago guys are standing around right now. You know, they're tired. You know, on that play right there, Kobe gets a
Bryant can't make it two in a row.
Shaq wanted the lob on that play running down. But see, that was a kill. You know, Eddie Jones had a choice. Either go to Shaq for the lob or Kobe Bryant for the three. That right now they're trying to embarrass Chicago.
Michael slows LA's momentum at least a little, and he's got 28. Here's Blunt finding Jones. Another potential dagger as he sticks the three in there.
You know, when we talked to Shaq yesterday, he pulled me to the side and he said, Isaiah, you know, how do you win championships in this league? You know, I'm a young guy. How do you go about doing it? And what I time.
On considering present and especially future ability, 2 of the 5 you take might be Shaq and Kobe, and we talked with Shaquille O'Neal about that.
Throughout the history of basketball, every great team always had a 1-2 punch. Isaiah and Lambeer, Magic and Kareem, Bird and McCall. And I think myself and Kobe Bryant will become our 1-2 punch. You know, he has a great heart, great scoring ability. You know, he can do a lot of things. He plays good defense, and I think that, you know, we're going to be the future. He's 19. I'm still young. I'm only 25. I think that, you know, that's our 1-2 punch.
And as we come back, Longley is rejected. Bryant comes down the other way and misses on the run.
But see, that's where the youth comes in,
believe it or not, by 25. Jones around Jordan and missing. But Blunt keeps it alive for Los Angeles. Pippen on Bryant. Jordan has Jones. Bryant overshot it. And that one is short. Is he pushing it a bit too much, pressing here?
No, right now, you know, he's trying to expand his game, you know. Even though he's 19 years old and he does all these beautiful and wonderful things, he's still trying to find his game in the NBA. He's still learning. So every time he gets it, you know, he has to try to, you know, push the envelope and find something new to do. You know, in business, you know, what he's learning, what he's doing now, he's doing his due diligence. You know, he's learning how to win. He's doing his homework. And every chance he gets to go up against a Jordan, that's his due diligence. He's doing his homework.
That was Bryant's third foul. One of 4 Laker All-Stars, the last team to put 4 into an All-Star game, the 83 76ers. Dr. J, Moses Malone, Maurice Cheeks, and Andrew Toney. The last time the Lakers did it, 62. Baylor, but not if her son has his way. Jonathan Taylor Thomas co-stars in the network premiere of the comedy Man of the House at 7 Eastern, 6 Central on NBC tonight. Another one coming for Kobe, who had 33 the last time he faced Michael in the Bulls, on 12 of 20 shooting, including 3 3-pointers at the United Center in December. That's still his career high, and this is second season straight out of high school in the NBA. Brown will have to push it up. From your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC. The Lakers shot 64% in the third quarter to 26% in a 9-day stretch on a West Coast road trip. They go from here to Denver, then conclude their business prior to the All-Star game Wednesday against the Jazz, and maybe given the 27-point deficit, it's time to rest some folks on the court.
About winning basketball, championship basketball, not just coming into this league and settling for just being a player in this league. Kobe wants to win championships.
So Michael Jordan will be 35 in a month. Bryant back off the bench. Next Sunday on NBC, Ahmad Rashad.
She transcends. She's crossed over.
Up by 20, the Lakers with the ball.
Crowd wanted Shaq to shoot the 3.
He hasn't attempted a 3 all season. He'll take one from more in his range here, and he's fouled.
You know, Shaq's one of those guys who has a lot of nicknames. You know, when you're real good in this league, they give you a lot of nicknames. Like he's Shaq Daddy. You know, he's a man of steel. You know, he's kind of everything. But the funniest nickname that Shaq has is the one that my daughter calls him. She calls him Shaquille Oatmeal. She can't get O'Neal out.
Well, there's another endorsement possibility for Shaq.
But see, I love everything about Shaq. You know, he's got the total package. You know, people talk about the money sometimes that guys get, but this guy's worth every dime that he gets because every single night, you know, he brings it to you.
6 of 10 at the line now for Shaq. Michael back in. If he follows through on his stated intention to make this his final year, this could be the last game he ever plays in this building and in this city. Shaq misses the second. And another whistle.
Look at myself, Magic, Bird, you know, the great players of that era. We had to leave because of injuries or other reasons, you know. But when you look at Jordan, he has a chance to really go out on his own terms. And I would hope that he would play basketball for as long as he possibly can so he never has to sit back and wonder if he left too early.
Well, of course, he stated what his terms are. He doesn't want to play for anyone other than Phil Jackson. He doesn't want to go to another team. It has to be in Chicago. Jackson told us a few weeks ago he sees no possible scenario whereby he would coach the Bulls next year. And maybe Jordan wants to leave at the very peak. So far, he hasn't contradicted his statement at the beginning of the year that this is the last go-round. There's probably some wiggle room, but he hasn't said it to the contrary. And there is Bryant reminding us that just in case Michael goes, there'll still be some excitement left in the NBA.
Well, I hope Chicago doesn't do what, you know, we did in Detroit when we break it up too early. I thought we had a great basketball team. And, you know, as long as these guys are playing well, they should keep them together. And we got Kobe coming down doing his Jordan imitation, the scoop. You know, he comes down and he gives them the up fake, up and under finger roll off the glass. See, that's called the low finger roll.
He had a reverse slam off an alley-oop Friday against the Timberwolves that just rocked the floor.
Well, he's exciting, you know, and that's what the fans like. When you come to a basketball game, you want to look at Kobe Bryant and say, hey, I know I'm going to see something tonight that I probably have never seen in basketball. You know, that's why the fans compare him to Michael Jordan, because every time you step out on the court, Michael Jordan gives you something special and something that you probably haven't seen before.
Mike. Scottie Pippen to Michael Jordan. Bryant is on him. MJ over him. With the rebound.
See, I love playing in the All-Star game. It was the ultimate playground game.
Speaking of playground, Kobe goes behind the back and then drops it through.
See, it's showtime now in the form. You know, that's what Magic was so good at doing. He put on the
5, back come the Lakers. The Bulls lost 99-72 earlier this year at Miami. That's their worst defeat. This could rival it or surpass it. Shaquille is fouled by Carl.
You got Kobe behind the back, reverse, off the glass. See, he brings the baseline, and then he stops, shift, takes it behind his back. Pippen goes by him, and then he goes up real with a nice little soft touch. I know his daddy didn't teach him that move, because Joe Jellybean Bryant didn't have that.
Well, the Bulls lost in Seattle this year, although they did beat the Sonics rather convincingly at the United Center. The Jazz came into Chicago last week and won there. And they'll get another crack at the Bulls on Wednesday in Salt Lake City. Now, the Lakers have put a beating on them here today. These are teams that potentially could come out of the West and potentially, assuming Chicago makes it that far, and that's a big assumption. Indiana has a shot at them, Miami, and maybe a few others. But if the Bulls should meet any of those clubs in the finals, I would think that little bit of success, even just in a game or two, would matter to those Western Conference teams. Pippen banks it in.
Well, that type of success, well, Kobe's a smart player, you know, and what he's trying to do right now is he wants to touch Michael Jordan. He wants to feel him, you know, he wants to know that he's human, and he doesn't want Michael to think that he's backing down from the challenge. However, he respects him, and he wants to get close enough to him so he can rob him of his knowledge. Kobe Bryant is trying to steal Michael Jordan's game, not only physically, but mentally. You know, he's been taught well. He's been schooled well. You know, he's got the best. And Jerry West here, you know, his dad and Jelly Bean, you know, and Eddie Jones. You know, he surrounded himself with a great support system.
Fisher to inbound. 5 on the 24. Shaq. Got to get rid of it. Missing. Pippen the rebound. Michael did as much as anybody to popularize the shaved head look. Now along comes Kobe. He says, hey, I'm growing it out. It might not be the 70s, might not be quite to that extent, but I got a little afro going here.
Yeah, he does. But, you know, the thing that really, you know, makes these two guys that when I talk about them, you know, I get a smile on my face is because they love to play. I mean, they love to play.
Derek Fisher. Kobe out of the corner, Pippen up on him. Fires over it and hits.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
Bryant is up to 20 now. He had 8 in the first half. Morrell. Pippen picks it up and is fouled. When you look at what Rick Fox has done the last couple of games, Robert Horry has been struggling even before being sidelined by an injury. One of the questions for the Lakers, and there's Horry on the Laker bench. And a big hand for Kobe Bryant as he goes out, likely not to return with 3:03 remaining. When you look at the forwards in the West, the Vin Bakers and Bentley Prince in Seattle, Karl Malone, Tim Duncan, Charles Barkley when he's healthy, the Lakers are going to have to get good forward play from Fox and from Ori if they're to advance in the playoffs.
See, I think that problem is not at the forward position, but I think that problem is going to be at the point guard position. You know,
boy, Dennis Leary has a line in the movie Wag the Dog. He says, I'm going to tell Rodman to turn his hair into some kind of leopard deal, a leopard skin deal. But Rodman says he'd already done it before he heard about the movie. In this case, art imitating life. So that does it. The Lakers by 25, 112 to 87. Ahmad will talk with Kobe Bryant when we come back.
Now, a lot was said before this game, like this wasn't a statement game, it's just another game. But you guys did make a statement that you guys are no joke.
We just wanted to be the great Bulls team at home. And, you know, a lot of times Kobe gets credit and I get credit. But today, I think Corey Blunt and Mario Bennett was our inspiration. You know, those guys never get much playing time, but they came in, they rebounded the ball well. And we just did what we were supposed to do, win at home.
And Kobe, you know, there's so much made about the matchup between you and Michael Jordan, the heir apparent. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, tonight I just really wanted to come out and play hard against him, and you know, I played a lot with my emotions. And I just needed to relax and let the game come to me a little bit. But you know, it's a learning experience, and I love matching up with Mike. It's a great challenge for me.
All right, I will see both of you in New York next weekend. We'll have an all-star time, all right?
No. Love you, Mommy. Love you, Jason. Love you, Mommy.
All right, back to you, Bob.
All right, Ahmad. One more commercial break, and Isaiah Thomas will rejoin us. We'll wrap things up from the Great Western Forum in a minute.